Hello, everybody. This is Bob Kingpin Eres with another edition of Pro Sports Broadcasting. And joining me today, and there he is, it's Richard Olumogba from InstantScouting.com. Good morning, Rich. How you doing?
Good morning, Bob. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, doing okay. And the thing that I want to know more about, and we've been talking now, and I have to say this, and I do appreciate you being cooperative with me because it's taken a while for us to get together. We've been talking now, probably it seems like a year. And finally, we do have the opportunity of getting you on the show to talk about instant scouting, scouting.com, and that's exactly what I'm going to let you do. And please let our viewers know exactly what you guys do up there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and like I said, thanks once again for having me. And here at Instant Scouting, what we do is we connect professional football players or aspiring professional football players with professional teams around the world. We've been doing this for over 3 years now, and it's been a success in the sense that we've definitely connected players with teams around the world. So we continue to build on that in 2015.
And what exactly? I know you say you're connecting them. So first of all, tell us where you're located. I know you're not located in the U.S., but you are located here in North America.
Yeah, we're located here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So that's where we're based out of right now, the Great White North.
Okay. So I know you've made many connections, right? You have many connections. If you say you connect folks, these players with teams. Football today is what? It's not just North America. It's European leagues, right? I mean, it's all over the world.
Yeah, it's growing up. Even in China in 2015, they're going to have their debut of the AFL China League, which is so far has gotten a lot of attention, a lot of they have a big fan base there, a lot more than that anyone would expect in China, but it's really growing around the world. There's other leagues in many different countries in Asia as well as Europe, even South America, and some growing in Africa. So really what it is just an opportunity for fans or players around the world to just play professional football. Either if it's getting recognized by an NFL team. You notice NFL teams are even finding athletes in other countries from other leagues. So it's really um, I'll say today, like, a lot of players really have that opportunity if they really do want to pursue some kind of a professional career in football. There's, lower level leagues that pay less than the NFL or the CFL, but will still allow you to have the opportunity to move up if you do perform. So it's like nowadays, you have every opportunity to move forward, to continue a career, to start a career. It doesn't really matter what age you're at. You just have to have the skills, the ability, but more important, you have to have the motivation and the drive. So with instant scouting, what we do is we make sure that those athletes that do want the opportunity, that do have the skills, that do have the merit, we provide all the resources. So one of the things that players really want to do is they just want to prepare and plan as the off season comes with tryouts, camps, etc. So in instant scouting, we work to provide all that for the athletes.
And I'm going to show just a little piece here, and this is you might be able to see it also on your side, but this is one of what we call your combines.
Yeah, so what we've done in the past 2 years, and we plan on doing it this year, is we've just held a free agent combine slash camps, and really what that was just an opportunity for players, for whatever reason that it may be that they're not in the pros right now, just to come work out, as well as get the opportunity to perform in front of numerous leagues versus just one league or one team. So what we did in 2014 with the University of Western Ontario's football program is we had all CFL teams attend the camp. So all 9 teams were available. And what they actually did was they got to interact with the athletes as well as, coach them and just, have that one-on-one and just give them advice, any kind of advice, to advance their career or to even get a better opportunity in the CFL. And it worked out very well because we have players come as far as China, Mexico, and the U.S. come to the event, and they got the opportunity to work out in front of the coaches, then what we do with that is we actually record the camps and then we put it on our other website, Instant Scouting TV, where teams from around the world can actually view the players, view the camp, and actually, get to contact the players directly and, give these guys an opportunity in case they didn't get an opportunity with the CFL. So that's one way that, we always accommodate the European teams, the teams in South America that wouldn't be able to make it to the event, as well as like the indoor leagues in the U.S. as well too. So the one thing we want to do here is we want to give everyone an even shot. We want to give everyone, that opportunity to leave no stones unturned. And it's just the method that's been working out for us the past couple years. It's really worked out for like the lower level leagues that don't have the budget that the NFL and the CFL has, to travel around and scout these athletes. So we really want to make it easier and painless for everyone in the process.
Now, Richard, how long have you been working now and building, instant scouting? Because I know you're the founder
Yeah.
and the CEO. So how long has this been in business?
Well, it's been in business since September 2011, and the way it started was after I was done school. I went through the whole process of trying to go pro. I went to tryouts, I went to camps, and the one thing like I realized through that whole I guess you could say experience in my life was, I just felt like there was a lot of inconsistencies within the traditional scouting system, and I always told myself, what if I had this? What if I had something like this? Or what if I was just informed about, the training, the camps, the combines, these are things that I wasn't aware of, as I was on my journey to the pros. So after I was done, pursuing a pro career, what I did was I became an agent, and I was an agent for a couple months. And just during that time being an agent, I just felt like I was able to make a much greater impact within the game, within scouting, and to give players a much better opportunity. Being an agent, I felt like my role was limited. Like there was only so much I could do. There's rules and regulations within each league, as far as what an agent could do. So what I did was I just stopped practicing being an agent, and I just came up with instant scouting, and I just really connected with athletes and just talked to them and really got to like know what they're looking for, as well as talking to professional teams and just seeing how like if just seeing how like someone like myself who's willing to like help and willing to really give an opportunity for the teams as well as the players. And I just came up with instant scouting from that. They were able to you know give me some great ideas, give me some good advice, and from there the rest is history. It's something that teams use on a weekly basis, players use constantly, as well as the training guys as well too. We just don't provide opportunities to play pro football, but what we do is we also help these players prepare by connecting them with trainers around the world, trainers that are willing to train athletes online, trainers that are willing to accept a couple athletes, house them as well as train them. So it's really been working out well. We do expect to expand this year in 2015, as far as just how we're gonna create better opportunities for these athletes as well as the teams.
And Rich, as we know here in the states, or I should say the NFL, right? The
Yes.
NFL has really they run their own combines, and they do run, they have their own scouting system, all right?
Yes.
And when you do find a player, and let's say, uh, do you almost like shop that player around to teams and say, "Hey, have you guys seen this guy?" Is that something you do, or I'm just trying to get the gist of what you do with it, with the, let's say, this product, and this product, of course, is the player, right? You found this special product.
Yeah. So essentially, like the very first thing I do with the athlete is I just get a I guess a thorough look at them. I speak with the athlete. I connect with them on a certain level just to see how they are, professionally. Because like nowadays, a lot of teams are very, I guess you could say they do more thorough background checks on players, and like just because of like all the recent allegations and drama that's been circling around professional football. So
Right.
now what we do now is, like I said, we take a much deeper look into the athlete just to make sure that, whatever the case may be, that they are ready to move on to the pros, physically, mentally, and like I said, the ability. So that right there saves a lot of time for the coaches. But essentially what instant scouting does is a player will come sign up. They'll put all the necessary information the team will want to know about them in order to get a thorough evaluation about them. And what I do myself is I also scout these athletes, put together reports, and then just forward it to coaches that are interested. On a weekly basis, I'm always communicating with at least between 20 to 30 different teams, ranging from all leagues, either it's in the CFL or the European leagues. Every now and then, an NFL team may reach out to me and just ask me if I have a player that sort of fits a profile that they're looking for. But for the most part, I'm always engaged, with teams. So whenever a player signs up, if a team is looking for a running back and a couple of running backs sign up, what I do is I'll just scout these athletes, forward them to the teams, as well as just give them my evaluation, my suggestions, and just let them know how they fit into their system. And then the team makes that decision if they want to bring the player in or if they want to contact the player. But sometimes you act as a liaison, or sometimes like you do everything as far as setting up the private workout, getting the player in contact with the team, and just sort of, if it's a lower level league, maybe at times I'll just help a player look at the contract, as well as just give them advice on how to go about the situation from there. So each week is a different, it's a different situation. I've gotten as far as like, picking players up from the airport to drive them to their team. So it's really, like I said, with distance scouting, the one thing that we want to do is just make the whole process easier for the teams as well as the players. So yeah, I won't say we shop them around,
Okay.
but like I said, we're always engaged. There's always a conversation going on between the teams as well as the players that I work with.
Now, you did mention that you started out. I mean, of course, you had a football career yourself, or
Yeah.
tried out for teams and so forth. And talk about yourself. Did you actually play professional football?
I never played professional football.
Okay.
It was an ambition that I had. It was something that I was working towards. But just I had a pretty rocky, I guess you could say, college career, like bouncing around from school to school. So after a while, I was just lucky to graduate and lucky to like have the opportunity to still try out to play professional football. So by the time I was done with football, I guess you could say my heart was completely into it. So I just found that I was able to fit better in professional football as a scout. Being a scout was probably one of the most natural things that came to me, aside from playing football. So it's like I said, even though I never had a professional football career, like I'm still like within the professional football industry, which is requires the same amount of dedication, motivation, and willingness to be better, every day. So it's being a professional football. I just think there's
All right.
just certain like qualities that you have to have, as well as a certain work ethic. It's an industry that never stops.
Right.
You know.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you went into then you were an agent, and
Yes.
I take it you're still an agent today.
No. No.
No.
I stopped
No. Really.
practicing
Okay.
being an agent back in 2012, and like I said, mainly just because like it limited my role.
Okay.
It limited the impact I could make within the industry. So,
Okay.
and as well as too, we work with agents, so it's not necessarily that I had to be an agent in order to continue instant scouting. So I just felt the focus was much better in scouting for me.
That's great. That's great. Now, what you've done here is really cool. It gives, I guess you could say, it gives guys another chance, right? And really, that's what you're looking for in here. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why you did start it.
Yeah.
Because heck, me as let's say me, the sports fan,
Hmm.
could look at professional football and said, oh, okay. There's other guys out there, right?
Yeah.
That have played. I mean, I take a look at a situation this year like our Arizona Cardinals down here because that's where I'm located,
Yeah,
and had two quarterbacks hurt, and then they go out to a practice squad and grab a guy, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that was a break and an opportunity for him. But you know what? There are other guys who are much better than him. I know sitting on the bench. And I don't want to get into the political side of that, but I know
Mhm.
one guy who literally has to be blackballed within NFL football or whatever. And I won't name names, but most sports fans will probably know who the heck I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And, a guy like that doesn't get a chance. And you have many guys like that, maybe not blackballed, but the thing is they've just, they haven't been found, right? They haven't been found.
Mhm. And you know, that's the thing within the professional football industry. Like, you know, there's so many prospects. You know, there's so many prospects, and what separates these prospects from the guys that actually get the opportunity is just being, I guess you could say, being in the circle of knowing what's going on, knowing the right people, and just having the right resources. You know, with instant scouting, you know, I've ended up, like, you know, finding players at schools that I didn't even know exist, at you know, in towns that I didn't even know exist. So it's really about just bridging that gap between the athletes as well as you know, just the professional football world, and just like what's going on and how it works. One thing a lot of guys simply don't know is about, you know, the open tryouts that, you know, the CFL, you know, offers, or even recently, you know, the NFL regional combines. You know, even up until last week, you know, speaking to a couple of players at Division 2 and Division 3 schools, like, they have no idea these exist. And, you
Right.
know, eventually they just sort of, I guess, give up on their dreams of playing professional football, and then just sort of move on to something else. And, you know, what I tell, you know, every player is, you know, it doesn't matter what level of play you think you're at, just give it a shot. You know, if a team is willing to take a look at you, either if it's at a private workout, an open tryout, an open camp, you attend it, and you attend and you give it your all, and, you know, you go from there. And like I said, when it comes to the politics side of it, you know, that's just something, I guess, that's out of my hands, out of any player's hands. It's completely, you know, it's completely up to, like, the team, and, like, you know, what fits in their culture. So, you know, there's plenty of prospects out there, you know, that can play within the game, can play in the in pro football, and they just haven't had that opportunity for one reason or another.
Now, how do our viewers, and I'm sure there's some going to be some viewers out there who will say, you know what, I'd like to attend one of your combines, or how do I get more information? Why don't you, let folks know how they could get a hold of you, please?
So you can always get a hold of me through get a hold of me through our website at InstantScouting.com. I'm constantly engaged with athletes, players, agents, trainers, even university coaches. Anyone that's looking to, like, you know, push their self forward within the ministry. So you can always contact us at our website, or even just seeing the training guides. If you go to Instant Scouting and you click Instant Scouting tryouts, what it does is it gives you a list of all the tryouts within the CFL, AFL, Europe, any league that you're interested in you know, trying out for it. And then what we do is, when a player signs up, is, you know, we keep them informed of what's going on. If a trainer is giving a free training session, or if a team is holding tryouts in their state, city, country, whatever the case may be. And, you know, they could go from there. So it's really simple as just signing up, and, you know, it's a free service for the coaches as well as the athletes, anyone that wants to be involved. So it's right now, I guess you could say, it's more of a resource center, you know, for players looking to move forward and teams looking for coaches. So, you know, we always encourage players, you know, sign up on our website, and sign up with any other website, you know, with any other service. You know, it's really about, like I said, knowing as much as you could know. You know, there's always something going on throughout the whole year. You know, a lot of guys, like, you know, sort of follow the whole NFL schedule and think that, you know, that's the only season or off season. So, you know, while the off season is going on for the NFL, there's the AFL going on, there's the IFL going on, there's European leagues, and you know, there's the GFL. So there's always something going on. There's always an opportunity for an athlete to play pro football at any given time, and that's what we like to you know, provide our athletes. That, you know, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. that there's always that opportunity there. So there's yeah, simply getting in touch with us is just as simple as going to instantscouting.com and just making a profile, and right then and there, the process starts. Your journey to the pro starts. When you sign up with us, and it's something that we're committed to. We've worked with plenty of scouts throughout the U.S., Canada, as well as Europe. To really get this going.
Well, I think what you're doing up there is a great job. Yeah, you are located in Canada, and
Yes.
which is great. So it's right here. You part of North America. Our it's kind of interesting that you're working with football too, because yes,
Yeah.
we know about the Canadian football leagues, but
Yeah.
hockey, of course, is always the one of the biggest things. But folks don't know there's plenty of products, and I hate to call athletes products, but that's what we are, right?
Mhm.
The thing is that are located all over the world that
Yeah.
don't have the opportunity, and that's why I think one of the things that you're doing there is so great.
Thanks.
There's a lot of products coming out of Canada in baseball as well. So, and we have them in Major League Baseball that are our stars, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
again, what you're doing is a great thing. And one thing I know you mentioned it briefly, and when you said inside, yeah, there's a big inside game of football today, right? The Arena Football League, right here in Phoenix. We've had the Arizona Rattlers for at least 3 years in a row, I think it is now, that they've won the championship. But I take it you also work with those coaches and different teams as well?
Yes, yes. We work with AFL teams as well too, and as like after the CFL, that's probably like one of our biggest partners. And with the AFL, it's another great opportunity. A lot of guys opt out of the CFL and like would rather do the AFL just because they have the 1 year contracts. It allows them to stay home, and it's also at the time where like there's not much there's no NFL going on. So after a player is
Right.
done in the AFL, they can easily move up. And you see it every year. You see, as soon as guys are done in the AFL, they easily get that opportunity within the NFL. So even the AFL and the indoor game, it's a different kind of game. I've had an opportunity to like actually attend the game, and it's a lot faster. It
Yes.
takes certain skill sets that may be successful in these indoor leagues may not be successful, in the NFL or CFL. So it makes it very interesting to like see guys excel within those leagues. So
Right.
it's a very different kind of game, but at the same time, it's football, and it's uh, it's something that's been growing within the U.S. And
Well,
like you said, they're in Phoenix, in
r-
Arizona, the Rattlers. They've
right.
won the championship a couple times in the past couple years, so it's really grown down there.
Right. And what I'll do is say one thing because uh, a guy has just been nominated, I should say, for to go into the NFL Football Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner. And
Yes.
and if I have it correct, and you might correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
I actually think Kurt Warner started out in the Arena Football League somewhere, or one of the indoor leagues, and then was brought in to the Rams, if I'm correct, and took them to a Super Bowl. Was a Super Bowl champ. Came here, was successful. You just don't know, right? Like here's a guy who got passed by originally, right?
Hmm.
Drafted by an NFL team, I believe. Maybe he was drafted, but he didn't make the cut or whatever.
Yeah.
And I am right on that, right? He did play in an arena league somewhere in the indoor league. Let's call it that.
Yeah, yeah. So his real first opportunity was in the Arena League, and Kurt Warner, he has one of those kind of like unique stories of someone just not giving up on the dreams.
Right.
Even before he like in between playing in the Arena League, I believe he just sort of like lived the average life and was working at a grocery store, and then a couple years later he's a Super Bowl champion, and decades later he's getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, and it just goes to show like the kind of opportunity that these, indoor leagues provide, for athletes. And, we see it to this day, players that played, either in the IFL, um, AIF, and then they get the opportunity in the CFL and NFL and make the most out of it. And it's something that a lot of players, like I said, aren't educated about. They hear about these leagues and they think like that's the furthest they're going to go. They see how much they pay, either if it's 100, 200, $300 a game, and they think like, that's the most they can make, so they don't even want to go with it. But I always tell athletes like, don't focus on the dollar, just focus on the opportunity. Focus on how you can contribute. Focus on how you can make an impact, with this team, in this city, not just as a player, but as a professional. And then you move on from there. And you know what? It's I find it's something that a lot of players are beginning to seize. It's an opportunity that players are beginning to seize. And Kurt Warner is just an example of that. He's an example of pushing the bar higher and higher each year. As a kid, I didn't hear about Kurt Warner until he played for the Rams, and I was totally impressed, with them, with what they brought. Even like the time for the Super Bowl run. I just thought like this guy's unstoppable, and just to think that he improved since playing in that indoor league, and he got his opportunity in the indoor league, just goes to show that if you just keep at it, keep focused, keep motivated, and just do the right things and just stick with it, then the sky's the limit. As far as the NFL Hall of Fame, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Right. And Richard, again, thank you so much for coming on and joining me today and talking about what you do. I mean, you're doing good things. And
Thank
I
you.
was thinking today of how should I title this interview? It's going to be something like this.
Yeah.
If you still have the dream, contact Rich. And you think you have that skill set, contact Rich. So
Thanks.
uh, it'll be fun. Hopefully, you get a lot of viewers that'll watch this. Feel free again to use this on your website as well.
Thank
But stick with me. I'm going to take us out of here by playing a little music, and stick with me, and I'll come right back to you.
you. All
Uh,
right.
Everybody, this is Bob Kingpin Eris. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.